Headquarters. But let's get started with my first read of the morning. It's now a question of not if Shinseki will go. The Democratic dam that essentially started leaking last week, it broke late last night after the first interim report revealed, or frankly confirmed, that there were serious problems with the way the VA treats our veterans when it comes to these wait times. Republicans in both the House and Senate have been calling for Shinseki's resignation for weeks. 42 VA facilities are now under investigation, accused of manipulating records to cover up treatment delays. But this new report has revealed the scope of the problems that are impacting thousands of veterans. The VA Inspector General found that there are 1,400 veterans on the wait list in Phoenix waiting to see a primary care doctor. 1,400. The report also showed that 1,700 more veterans who wanted to see a primary care doctor but are not on any official wait list at all. VA Inspector General also found that, quote, inappropriate scheduling practices are widespread across the VA healthcare system, and it is not confined to just the hospitals in the Phoenix area. In fact, the Inspector General found that some vets are, quote, at risk of being forgotten or lost in this convoluted scheduling process. So right after that report was released, more than 30 members of Congress quickly called for Secretary Shinseki to resign. And a lot of them this time were Democrats. Started with Senator Mark Udall. Then you had Senators John Walsh and Kay Hagan. They denounced Shinseki at about 2 o'clock. Udall tweeted that Shinseki should step down at 3:42 p.m. By 10 p.m., you could add Senators Al Franken and Jeanne Shaheen to the chorus of folks that they wanting Shinseki to go. In all, 5 Senate Democrats have broken ranks to demand Shinseki to step down. And oh, by the way, all 5 are up for re-election in 2014. Add to that the 14 House Democrats who are now doing the same. The pressure had already spread to some high-profile Democratic candidates that are running in some big Senate races. Candidates like Michelle Nunn in Georgia, Alice Grimes in Kentucky, Natalie Tennant in West Virginia, Rick Weiland in South Dakota. They were joined last night by Bruce Bailey in Iowa. Florida gubernatorial candidate Charlie Crist also had joined the chorus. Some Democrats have been getting pressure in their own districts to do something.
Senator Jeanne Shaheen can, but she's done nothing, putting her loyalty to her party and the president ahead of America's veterans.
Wrong way to lead into this. As we said yesterday, Senator Shaheen changed her position, but Senator Mark Pryor has not, and he's getting hit on the air as well.
Mark Pryor's response to the scandal? Silence. He sides with Obama.
The political frustration on both sides of the aisle finally culminated in a very contentious prime-time House Veteran Affairs Committee last night. 3 Veterans Affairs officials had been called to testify for a 7:30 meeting, but the committee members spent most of the time venting, not really listening to answers.
3,000 requests for information.
Ma'am, veterans died. Get us the answers, please.
I understand that, Mr. Chairman, and I will look.
That's what you said 3 months ago.
I can tell you, you are not being forthright in your testimony.
I just come away from this hearing tonight, and I get the feeling that no one is in the VA right now is in a position to do anything. If I did something wrong and people died, I would be fired and probably court-martialed. And that's the nature of the business.
Where in the world is the urgency? What do you say tonight? I know what you don't know. What do you know that you can tell the American people that they can learn in 2.5 hours of a committee meeting?
Congresswoman, our focus remains on caring for these veterans. We join you in this. May I finish?
Because I have 5 minutes.
So as for Shinseki, think of it this way. He's not going to go until the White House finds a suitable replacement. They know they look like they've been slow to respond in this. The last thing they're likely to do is simply leave a void at the top of the VA while trying to find a replacement. So that appears to be where we are right now, searching for the replacement. Democrats are practically begging the president to do something now and fast. Politically, they kind of have to. Keeping Shinseki long-term does not appear to be an option. The type of person they're looking for, if you want to know, is somebody that's a bit of a stylistic change from Shinseki, somebody that knows how to manage a large bureaucracy in the government, and somebody that's a bit above politics, perhaps a Republican or somebody with a nonpartisan face. So think people like a Bob Gates type, a Ray Odierno. Now, whether any of those guys would agree to take this job is another story, but that's the type of profile they're looking for. Let me bring in the congressman that led that hearing last night. He's, of course, Florida Republican Congressman Jeff Miller from the Pensacola area. He chairs that committee. He joins me now. Congressman, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Chuck.
So one thing about last night's hearing that might have been a little frustrating for people to watch is that it seemed to be had a lot of outrage there, and an understandable outrage from members of Congress. But did you feel like you gave enough time to the people that were testifying to give them a chance to explain themselves?
What I was not going to do was allow people like Undersecretary Joe Mooney to continue to drag out the fact that they will not provide us the information that we have been asking for years. And that's what she started to launch into, talking about all of the requests for information that come in. I told her, ma'am, people have died. We need to get answers. The American people are demanding it, and they're channeling it through their members of Congress.
There's no doubt, and I get that frustration, but I guess I go to, you know, we had that one member of Congress not letting somebody answer their question. So you get the feeling that sometimes it looked almost more like theater than it was as a fact-finding mission. And I understand your frustration that you're not getting information you're asking for as far as documents, but sometimes that hearing looked like it was a lot more theater than fact-finding.
Well, that's pretty smart for you to talk about, Chuck. You're in the business of theater, my friend. And I will tell you that the American people are very, very serious about what's going on. What is going on is dragging and dragging and dragging. Finally, people have started paying attention. We have been sounding the alarm for a long, long time. And fortunately, the media, including yourselves, has started focusing on this issue. And last night, the department sent 3 people to our table to talk about how they have complied with a subpoena that was issued by our committee in a bipartisan way. They have not complied with the subpoena. They would not answer why they haven't given us all the information. And all we're trying to do is point out the fact that we have been asking questions about preventable deaths and delays in care, and they will not answer our questions.
Let me ask you this. How I think everybody seems to agree that simply replacing Shinseki is not going to solve the problem. This problem is bureaucratic. It's management. It is the tentacles here, particularly on the VHA part of the sub-agency there at VA. It is a management consultant's nightmare, the more I've looked into this. So what do you do? What do you want to see from the administration besides sort of a change in the leadership?
Well, more than a change in the leadership, what I would have liked to have seen from the president from the very beginning was for him to come out and say any veteran that is on the waiting list can go out and get care in the private sector immediately, not have to for a period of time. This is something that they already had the ability to do. They have not been doing what they have the authority to do and the funds to do. And I have said, this is a lot bigger than Secretary Shinseki. He is my friend, and it pains me greatly to have to call for his resignation because very clearly he has lost the faith of the American people, and without question, the people within his own department don't feel comfortable enough to bring information to him. They only give him the good news. There is a lot of bad news out there that he needs to be hearing.
Give me the description of somebody you'd like to see replace Shinseki. What do you think is necessary to restore some confidence and, frankly, get some time to try to get their arms around this issue?
Well, first of all, I don't get the opportunity to appoint the next secretary. That's the president's responsibility. But it does need to be somebody who will not take just the words that people give them. He needed to ask his leadership, and I've been telling him this for years. Your people are not telling you the truth. You have to demand the truth from the people that work under you, and if they don't tell you the truth, you hold them accountable.
So you want to see a little bit of a bigger personality, a little bit of a style change almost more than anything else.
You know, I don't know if it's a style change because the secretary obviously did a very good job as a 4-star general. His service to this country is to be saluted. But for some reason, the bureaucracy, the 330,000 people that work at the Department of Veterans Affairs don't think they need to answer to the secretary. Somebody has got to get in and make sure they understand they answer to the American people.
Well, and that's what I keep hearing, particularly at VHA in particular, is that they have been impossible to manage. Anyway, Congressman Jeff Miller, who is, of course, chairman of the House Veterans Affairs Committee, and from the state of Florida, Pensacola. Thanks for coming on.